the White House facing backlash as it marks Transgender Visibility Day, which fell on Easter Sunday this year.
It's been observed annually since 2010, but Biden became the first president to ever issue an official proclamation back in 2021.
Of course he did. Very important proclamation. Meanwhile, the White House is responding to the outrage that the Easter egg art contest will prohibit children from turning in designs with religious themes on Easter. Former governor of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee, joins us now to react. Governor, help us out here. So Easter is been proclaimed the Trans Day of Visibility, and if you want to be a part of the Easter egg hunt, don't put a cross on it. Got it.
It's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. First of all, to say no religious themes at the White House Easter celebration.
Yeah.
Now, you can have a transgender person flashing breast, which we had, a year ago. That's okay. No problem there. You can have one of your transgender people taking luggage from the carousel at airports, and it takes several attempts of that in order to even get him fired. This is where we've gone to la-la land. I don't understand this at all. It would be the equivalent of Joe Biden on Ramadan saying, okay, we're going to also declare this Eat More Pork and Bacon Day. Now, how would that go over?
Right.
It's absurd. And Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself. And all these people say, yeah, but this is the day we've always recognized Transgender Visibility Day. Well, recognize it another day, not on Easter Sunday. It's an affront to the Bible. And quite frankly, it's an affront to biology. There are two genders. People can't just go in and out of one like a revolving door. And it's time that we stand up and say, we need to help people who are confused. We need to feel for them. We need to get them some assistance. But we don't need to somehow completely surrender to this nonsense and pretend that it's normal. It's not normal.
Yeah, I think the argument that it's a coincidental falling on the same day, you can go back to 2021 to really dispel that argument. He didn't have to issue a proclamation. He made that choice. He chose to pander to that group. And in doing so, he painted himself into a corner. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. He came into office as this Uncle Joe, I don't know what people thought he was going to be, but he's really been a very radical president.
The most radical we've ever had. He makes Obama look like Ronald Reagan. There's never been a president who has been so very partisan, harsh, and insulting to at least half America. He can't talk about the other half of America without calling them those MAGA Republicans. He might as well say those maggot Republicans, the way he talks about all of us, who tend to support the idea that America should be first. We like Donald Trump. We think his policies were a lot better for us. Economically, we're better. Our border was secure. Our cities weren't going crazy on fire with crime and people getting hit in the back of the head with a brick on a city sidewalk or having to put National Guard in subways in New York. I think a lot of us were much happier when America was being put first by its president rather than a president that politicizes everything and brings no one together.
Governor, first of all, I think it's important to note the moment that we're in. And sometimes it's hard. There's so much stuff coming at us. I think there's a battle going on. It's a spiritual battle. There are people who want to de-Christianize this country, and very actively so. I think this was a very intentional insult. They can say all they want. Oh, it landed on the 31st, but just as Pete said, they could have moved it to the 1st. April Fool's Day probably would have been a more appropriate day than Easter Sunday in any case. But I think this moment, this weekend, I think might be a critical juncture in this election on which so much hinges. Whether it was the wake and the funeral and the choices made by the president there, or on Easter Sunday, the choices he's making here. And I think there's two paths. And I just want to get your thoughts on that, because I know you think deeply about these things.
Well, I do feel deeply about it, and in part because this country was built on the notion of a Judeo-Christian understanding that some things are always right, some things are always wrong, that there is a God. God created us. We didn't create him. And because he created us, he has the right to make the rules. We live by the rules, we win the game. We don't live by the rules, we can't win the game. It's not complicated. And that's the foundation upon which America was built. And it could all be summed up with one statement that Jesus taught us: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You don't want someone to hit you in the back of the head with a brick. Don't do it to others. You don't want to violate people's laws and rights and basic fundamental sense of decency. Don't do it to others. It's not complicated. And I wish on this Easter Sunday we could just step back and recognize that all of this day is about one who overcame the ultimate of life. He overcame death, came out of the grave to give us hope. And the great S.M. Lockridge, preacher from California, African-American pastor, died in 2000, but he had the best Easter sermon I ever heard in my life. And it was called, "It's Friday, but Sunday's Coming." And it's all about how that sometimes in the darkest moments of our lives, we sometimes think that there's no hope, that there's no future. But even on the darkest day of human history, when the Savior was put on the cross, it's Friday, but Sunday's coming. And that's a great message for us that kind of supersedes all of the nonsense of Joe Biden's White House and his anti-Christian themes and don't bring any religious thought to Easter. Well, that's the only thought we got on Easter. That's what it's about. It's not about bunnies. It's about hope. It's about future. It's about overcoming death.
Yeah. Maybe on some level we bear a little bit of responsibility for not doing a better job ourselves as Christian, allowing, no offense to the Easter Bunny out there, but allowing the Easter Bunny and these sort of secular, meaningless things to take over what should be, it's the holy day for us, and the holiest of days. And that's probably where we should be. By the way, the White House responded to the backlash. They said, as a Christian who celebrates Easter with family, President Biden stands for bringing people together and upholding the dignity and freedoms of every American. Sadly, it's unsurprising that politicians are seeking to divide and weaken our country with cruel, hateful, dishonest rhetoric. President Biden will never abuse his faith for political purposes or for profit. And then the First Lady's office added this, Governor, about the art contests rules that said Jesus was not allowed to be in the art contest. And this is what she said.
No, they're saying the guidance, Governor. Help us out if you believe this. This is the First Lady. This is what they're saying. That the art guidance, that no religious symbolism, has been the same for every administration for 45 years. Do you buy that? Like Ronald Reagan said, no, you can't do anything about Jesus at the Easter egg hunt?
No. I think it's ridiculous. The fact they're having to issue these kind of detailed statements is indication that they know the blowback is there.
Yes.
The reality of all of this is that they messed up. They messed up big, but they never admit it. They never own their errors because they don't have that much real estate that they can put them all on.
That's the best way to put it. Governor Mike Huckabee, thank you for the clarity and for your message this morning. We appreciate it. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, Governor.
Happy Easter.
More Fox and Friends in a moment.